In the interest of time, why don't we just get started with work session 5? City Manager.
Oh, you betcha, Mayor. Good evening, Mayor, City Council, and residents watching outside. Today, we're going to start with Planning and Sustainability Department, which is listed on page 129 of the proposed budget. All right. So, the Department of Planning and Sustainability provides professional support by making recommendations on development proposals to the City Manager and the City Council and conducting both short and long-range special studies. An additional focus of the department is working to preserve and protect our environment and planning for a sustainable future. Through various activities and initiatives identified by the City Council, approved Climate Action Plan and approved Sustainability Plan. The Planning Division mission is to influence in a positive and constructive way and with significant citizen involvement. If you look at the objectives for 2025, A was coordinate consulting contract for the design of engineering of MD 214 pedestrian overpass project and apply for grant funding for construction by June 30, 2025. Unfortunately, this project was not funded by the county, and we made a couple of grant applications and were submitted, and we did not get the funding for that. This summer, staff participated in debriefing with Federal Reconnecting Communities and Neighborhood Grant Program. And in November, staff participated in a debrief with the State Transportation Alternatives, TA program staff. Staff intends to reapply for these grants in the upcoming cycle. B, complete a video series of the City of Bowie's byway trail system by March 30, 2025. We have new leadership in the planning department, and we realized that it would be best to postpone to a certain degree, but not still within this fiscal year, and to fund the bike racks that would we would maintain the trail maps, and then once we've done that, we should have do the video in-house with Sonia and Una and her team. So we'll have a possible continuation till next year, unless we're able to obligate and acquire the bike racks and all that within the next 45 days. C, obtain estimates for conducting forest assessments on 3 city-owned properties by December 31st, 2024. Cost estimate was received in December, and a budget item for 2026 was prepared. Going to page 130, you'll see that looking at workload and performance indicators, we do have, we project a 10, 11-point drop in developmental application reviews. And of course, that's an activity that we don't control, of course. And otherwise, most of the factors associated with this division have remained projected to remain constant. If you look at the objectives for 2026, complete bicycle-friendly communities application by June the 25th of next year. Complete forestation assessment by June 30th of next year. Recommend we drop the bike distribution installation, because we intend to do that within the next 2 months and get that done in this fiscal year, as I mentioned before. And 4, host 3 events at local schools to promote the city's bike and pedestrian safety initiative. As you can see, there are no significant budget changes associated with this division. There are 4 people in this division: the director, planning and sustainability, our transportation specialist, watershed manager, and executive office associate. Salaries and wages are $439,600. Benefits of $141,400. Contractual services, $41,000, excuse me. Technical services for various issues such as traffic capacity, safety environments, and funding for trail project feasibility studies. And a small amount for travel and training, and $16,400 for subscriptions and memberships associated with planning and zoning and sustainability. Any questions about the planning division of planning and sustainability department?
Council members, any question?
Yes, quick question.
Councilman Wolfe?
Yes, thank you, Mr. City Manager. I know that there's been some shifts in responsibility, for example, on the, for the planning department taking on responsibilities. One that comes to mind only because I was just up there today was the garden plot, the community garden plots and so forth. There's nothing in the budget here. How are you coordinating the budgets necessary elsewhere in the other departments to support the planning initiatives that we have going?
Good evening.
And I'm sorry, and it doesn't have to be just about the garden plot. I mean, it could be for pretty much all the initiatives, because I think a lot of the initiatives that planning is engaged in relies on support from others.
Definitely. Yeah, we, for that initiative, we use the staff sustainability team, but we also just meet with community services regularly, so we've managed that handoff with them. So at the Community Garden Cleanup Day, Community Services and Lexi were present to kind of let the gardeners know, hey, it was them, it's going to be us now. They will continue to fund it, and we'll work together and have those offline discussions.
And the same sort of things happening with the bicycle plans and so forth, because obviously when it's nice to plan out the idea of a bicycle-friendly community, but someone's got to stripe the road or the pathways or whatever and
Yes,
put up,
sir.
Yeah.
I can't speak to the bicycle-friendly communities grant or that whole application, but the grant that we just got for the bike racks, we did work with, I had specific conversations with Nick and Parks and Grounds to make sure that they would be okay to install them if we got the grant. So they were aware of it through the whole process.
Great.
Mayor Pro Tem, when the agencies such as sustainability and planning are in fact the PMs of a particular project, they have the authority and the wherewithal to bring in all components of the staff. If the support staff, such as Parks and Grounds, the Rangers, and Public Works with all of their trucks and forklifts and other things that can move dirt around and do things. And we have those meetings, and those people know their support mission.
Excellent. Glad to hear. Thank you. It's I know a lot of good work comes out of the department when there is not necessarily a budget line item for the actual.
Well, I'll give you an example. For example, if planning had a project that was invariably going to be some sort of construction, or if community services had a project, well, we utilized the architects and engineers in Public Works to come up with accurate estimates for those projects, even though they aren't managing it, so that when we go out to bid, we don't miss the target and have something, 50% more costly than we thought. And that's an example of cross-pollination on that part.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thank you. And kudos to everybody on all the good work on there are a tremendous number of initiatives that are out there and make a difference for the community. Thank you.
Hey, Councilman. Any other council members? Councilman Brady?
Thank you, Mayor. On the current objectives, the first one ends with a statement that says staff intends to reapply for these grants in the upcoming cycle. I would suggest that ought to carry over as a new objective for the upcoming year, so we don't lose track of that.
Sure, we can add that.
I'm sorry, what was that?
We can add that to the,
Okay.
no problem.
I was going to just ask my colleagues for consensus in supporting that. On the third one, with regards to the conducting a forest assessment on the 3 city-owned properties, and I've mentioned this in the past, I would wonder if there's not an opportunity to work with the various HOAs to assess their dedicated open space areas to see if, and to me, I would see it if they can convert a grassy area to trees and bushes and reduce their maintenance costs, they'd be willing to do it. But are there opportunities through all the various HOAs in the city to maybe add trees on their maintained property? So I would just throw that out as, not necessarily as an objective, but rather as a suggestion. And then the last question I have is with regards to the bicycle-friendly communities application. Are there anything, or do we anticipate there will be any requirements that may impact the budgets if we do get certified that we have to do to meet it?
Councilman, Richard Hall, General Manager, Director of Planning Sustainability for the record. Your question is, would there be a commitment to lock us in for something if we do the bike plan? Is that what you're?
Well, it says complete the bicycle-friendly communities application. What I'm saying is, if we are successful in completing it, are there any kinds of requirements for the city of Bowie that we may impact or have a budgetary implication?
I am not sure, actually.
Most likely just the wayfinding plan, completing that, and the byway that was noted in the Trails Master Plan.
And the wayfinding plan is underway, almost done.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah.
Any other questions from any council members? If not, we'll move right on. Thank you.
The next division within that department is Sustainability Division. It was created out of the Department of Planning and Sustainability in 2024. The Sustainability Division works to preserve and protect our environment and plan for a sustainable future through various activities and initiatives identified by the City Council's approved Climate Action Plan, approved Sustainability Plan, and other climate-focused plans as derived. The division provides technical assistance and staff liaison to the Green Team, Executive Committee, and all other groups, and completes several certifications for the city, including the Department of Housing and Community Development, Sustainability Communities Application, Sustainable Maryland Certified Recertification, and the National Wildlife Federation Community Habitat Program. The Sustainability Division also oversees Green Bowie's programs sponsored by the city and provides continuous education and outreach for a wide range of sustainability efforts to a wide and all-encompassing audience. The objectives for 2025 were to obtain consulting services for the formulation of a brand-new environmental action plan, which will take place take the place of both the sustainability plan and the climate action plan by June 2025. This new plan will be completed and is on course to be completed by the end of this fiscal year. Purchase, install, and promote the Little Free Library at Centennial Park by December 31st, 2024. The library was installed in October of 2024. Collaborate with the Department of Public Works to examine alternatives and prepare FY 2026 funding requests for the expansion of the current curbside food waste program by December 31st, 2024. This objective was completed, and we received direction from the council to expand the program. Going to page 134, the objectives for 2026, complete phase 2 of the EECBG, which is the Energy Efficiency Community Block Grant project to obtain consulting services for energy audits of the city buildings over 35,000 square feet by December 2025. Number 2, the Sustainability Planet will complete Leeds Green Associate Training by the end of next year, and create a greenhouse gas inventory by utilizing ICLEI by December 30, 2025. There are no significant budget changes in this division. There are two full-time employees here, the sustainability manager and the sustainability planner. Salaries and wages are $174,300 and $56,100 for fringe benefits. If you look on page 135, you'll see there are $66,100 in program supplements, Plant One Tree on Us, turnkey program available for residents involved with city planning, canopy on 100 residential properties, and the cost for contractors is around $500 per tree. So there's also provisions in there for HOA technical assistance and other an energy audit reimbursement program, the residential rebate program for electrical powered lawnmowers also. Any question regarding the sustainability division of this department?
Council members, any question? Councilman Brady?
Thank you. Yes, Mayor, when we talked about this earlier concerning the funding for the current curbside food waste pickup program, I still have some frustrations that with 5 years demonstration project to determine the feasibility. I think we should be moving along. I appreciate staff's information in response to my request for the cost to go to 25% of the city and 50% of the city in light of the tight budgets, because 25% is 1.3 to 1.7 million, 50% is 2.6 to 3.4 million. And I think that's not an item that we can handle in the current budget, so I'll rescind my request. But I would ask that in the coming year, as part of the future for the next budget, that maybe we can have a meeting of the minds, if you will, to look at how we can achieve 100%, because I believe that 100% will be doing it all inside without contracts. So if we could plan during the coming year to have a staff and council meeting to discuss the parameters of what it is today and how we get to the 100%, I would appreciate that. Thank you, Mayor.
Any other questions from council members? Hearing none, city manager, you can proceed.
The next would be the IT department. Give us a moment for musical chairs. We'll be right with you. All right then. So the IT department is on page 81 of the proposed budget. The information technology department delivers economical technology projects, solutions, and services to all city departments. And the major goal of the department is to ensure sound and technological solutions are implemented to assist the departments with the delivery of the city's services. By providing reliable communications and modern infrastructure, the goal is accomplished by collaborating with city departments to plan for the efficient and effective use of technology. Do you have that thing that you put under my door? Yeah. Oh, thanks. All right. So on page 81, look at the objectives for 2025. A was upgraded network equipment located in Public Works facility, and the upgrade was completed in September 2024. And this work also was completed in January 2025. Evaluate the current process of deploying smartphones and tablets to staff. Multiple options were researched for deploying smartphones and tablets for users, and the transition to a new system was completed in March of 2025. C, improve security of the network by conducting 2 assessments of the user base to determine their level of risk. All the at-risk users will receive additional training and educational support. The first assessment was to be completed in December, and the second assessment by June 30, 2025. The new email security services with end-user education was implemented in December. First assessment was completed in January with several follow-up assessments, and this is a continuous and ongoing objective, that I can attest to the fact that we all had to take an exam, we had to pass a test to continue our use, to make sure that we weren't doing risky things and we knew what was a risk and what wasn't. So it was, as we used to say in the Army, that was good training. All right, so number D there, review existing hardware and software that is utilized by the Information Technology Department and look for ways to consolidate services or products for cost savings. And this task was to be completed by December 31st. The objective was completed in December. Consolidation of the hardware and software is an ongoing effort to improve efficiency and create cost savings. And so we're doing that. E, City of Bowie is committed to advancing its Smart Cities Initiative, a three-phase program aimed at transforming the city through technology and innovation. The goal of this initiative is to enhance urban efficiency, sustainability, and quality of life through the integration of technology and data-driven solutions. All objectives for Phase 1 are to be delivered by December 31st, 2024. A Smart Cities Framework document encompassing the Smart Cities Plan, Smart City Policy, and Artificial Intelligence Policy were developed in November 2024 to guide the integration and innovation of technologies across the city services. So if you look on page 182, you'll look at our workload indicators. Generally speaking, all of them will be projected to be up slightly in 2026, but the more we live, the more we use IT services and automation to make our jobs easier, theoretically, and so it's going to change. The objectives for 2026, conduct research and evaluation, research to evaluate the most effective solution between single sign-on SSO and identity and access management IAM for integrating all city cloud applications. This research will include comprehensive analysis of the cost of implementations, implications, scalability, and compatibility of each approach. Research will be completed by December 2025. 2, address emerging challenges such as increased data traffic and cybersecurity threats. The IT department will update its core network appliances. This project will be completed in May of 2026. The IT department will conduct a survey of the department user base to ensure overall user satisfaction. And the objective is to get that done by next April. Test the functionality of our current cyber security tools and infrastructure by completing a penetration test and risk assessment. A comprehensive evaluation of our current cybersecurity posture would identify potential vulnerabilities and offer actionable recommendations that could enhance overall security infrastructure. Its objective is projected to be done by in December of this year. Begin Phase 2 of the Smart Cities Initiative by allocating and managing resources effectively to implement policies and achieve objectives established in Phase 1. Phase 2 will be completed and projected to be done next April. There are significant budget changes in this department, and there are the addition of one network security administrator, grade X116, a cloud data analyst, grade X118, and a transformation coordinator, grade X digital transformation or coordinator, grade X116. For the sake of the audience and persons that are listening, I've got this explanation of those roles in plain language. The network security administrator will help keep the city computer network safe from hackers and cyber threats. They'll set up security systems like firewalls, watch for unusual activity, and run regular checks to make sure everything is secure. The cloud data analyst will help the city make smarter, faster decisions by working with data stored in the cloud-based systems. This person will gather information from different departments, organize it in useful ways, and look for patterns or trends that can improve services, save money, or spot issues early. Most importantly, they'll help ensure data is accurate, up-to-date, and stored in a way that follows the best practices for privacy and security. And finally, the digital transformation specialist. This person will help the city improve how it uses technology to work smarter and serve public better. They will look at current systems, suggest new tools or updates, and guide the departments through changes that makes things more efficient and user-friendly. Before I finish this, about 7 years ago, I think Todd had been here a year or so then, there was an issue, a glitch with the communication, with an automated system that was necessary. And people were upset and angry and all that, and weren't necessarily working the best the way they should. So when I talked to the director, who was an antagonist, I explained to him that if you don't do your job, I could probably get some support from the county. Or, and you could say that for several departments, Public Works too, if we decided we didn't want to do it. However, if the IT department stopped working, we all need to go home, because we are absolutely, unequivocally dependent upon automated systems, everything from writing parking tickets to managing our monies, our HR systems. And so, and in the vein of the smart cities, we're requesting these 3 people to help us be even smarter than we were before and better than we were before. If you look on page 83, you'll see that the numbers would go from 19 to 22 people. And of course, the actions, political actions in the last 4 months indicate that there may be a lot of people available, more so than before, if they haven't moved away. But in this particular field, especially these positions, these people are hard to find. So we'll have to, I suspect that these will be national searches. We may get locals, but we need to bring somebody from Utah to here to do the job. We'll just do what we have to do. But the department, when I received that, had 13 people in it, but the mission continues to grow and grow and grow, from telephone systems to printers and all those essential things we now take for granted that our IT department keeps going. The salary and wages are projected to be $2,095,000. Fringe benefits, $661,800. Contractual services for off-site storage at $256,000. Subscriptions and software as a service solutions, at the top of page 84, $606,000. Software licensing at $358,000. And communications, our phone systems, cellular devices, and all those things we use to communicate, $437,400. And repair and maintenance of the hardware and software, $217,800. Under the term commodities, I like that term, provide the cost of computers, servers, monitors, printers, print management services, and other computer-related supplies. Any questions of the IT department or their budget?
City manager, the two quick questions I have, and they're pretty simple, is number one, when you were talking about the reviewing existing hardware, software, and seeing how we could maximize on that, what was the main finder you had there of what you were able to combine or be able to utilize on, like, I'm looking at item D on objectives from 2025.
The biggest thing was getting users to utilize the packages that are Microsoft 365 that we have. It offers a lot of software that people are underutilizing.
Okay, so.
Yeah,
that was one of the
removing
main-
some of the smaller packages we have and having them use the Microsoft systems.
Okay, but that kind of answers that. The other thing I have is in the staffing. I see no interns. Do you have interest in bringing in interns, particularly in the IT area? Because that looks like that could be a great place for learning as well as having some extra hands and some basic knowledge to help out.
So I've had experience using interns in past positions, and my thoughts are these. Well, the thought process of having interns it's a great thing, but when you have young people that come in, we have to take people off the line to train them for a number of weeks, and usually by the time they're done with their internship, they're just getting to the point where they're being useful, and then they have to go. And so while we may have given that young person an opportunity or a learning experience, costs of the city it's tremendous because we have to take people out of their jobs to actually train that particular person. So it ends up costing the city a lot of money to do that.
Well, we may make a recommendation to you is that with, for example, Bowie State University, I'm using that as an example, when you set up the intern programs, you can tell them what the minimum requirements, and even if it's certifications that the interns will need to be able to come in so that they can hit the ground running and all. So as you establish that internship, that program, meeting with them, you can direct them as what you want to have for an intern to be able to come here. And they can include that within the curriculum. So I suggest you look at doing that.
Okay,
if you
we'll
don't mind.
definitely looking at that.
All right, thank you. Anyone else have questions? I will go to Councilman Dufour Wolfie.
Thank you, Mayor. That's all right. First of all, thanks for all the good work you do. The one question I have is actually ties into the communications department. We've been pining for a long time for a .gov domain, and we had it as a 2025 objective, and it says we got spring. Spring is sprung. It's not all the way out of the box, but it is springing. Can you tell us where we are with that for this fiscal year?
Yes, so we're going to push that on to, we're shooting for January of 2027, sorry, to get that done.
All right, I did not see that in the objectives.
Oh, I'm so sorry, 26.
Okay, I did not see that in the new objectives for the communications. Can we add it in here? Did I miss it? Yeah, and I didn't. No, I mean in terms of the 26, I don't see it in the listing for the 26 objectives. Or did we add it in?
All right.
It was included in the prior year objectives. We can ensure that it gets included in for the upcoming objectives. We can add that in, yes.
Excellent, thank you. And just out of curiosity, is there any particular reason for the holdup? Is it just staffing levels?
So you will recall that we had a pretty big shakeup in our communications staff this past year with some of our young folks taking advantage of a lot of the opportunities that were available in the workplace. And so we had resorted to some core service items, and this got pushed out as a result.
Fair enough. Thank you kindly.
Hearing no other questions, proceed, City Manager.
What page are we going to? Equipment. Thank you, Todd and Denise.
And thank you for all your work.
We could turn to page 159. That would be the equipment acquisition and replacement. And I'm going to take you through the first 4 pages there. If you look at the column at the top, revenue estimates, you'll see that we have an interest income of $337,300, appropriated fund balance $2,043,800, and transfer from general fund $2,157,700, and $100,000 from sale of capital assets. And so the way we build our fund balance is that when we project that we're going to replace a vehicle, we put money in the budget for it every year. And that's why we have some money to start with. If you look at the expenditures there, you'll see the numbers, the bottom line number is the same. We're going to replace $786,800 worth of vehicles in general government, public safety, police department primarily, $1,291,200. Public Works, $1,272,000. Parks and Recreation, $185,000. And the reserve for replacement is $1,161,800, what I mentioned earlier, and a total of $4,696,800. Go to page 160. There's a bit of a more specific breakdown as who's getting what. And so we'll start at the top of that 160. You'll see that we'll be spending $12,600 on replacing multifunctional printers, another $10,400 replacing a multifunctional printer. That's going to be in Public Works Engineering. BizHub, C658 Communication Services, $15,800. $179,000 replacement in the telephone system. And replace backup system primary for $80,000. Replace a new HP LaserJet 700 color MFP streets and water and sewer. That's $12,000 for a total IT replacement $727,000. From an administrative perspective, there's a new Transit Connect panel van for $44,000. A new tenant floor sweeper walk behind, $15,800. And the total administrative was $59,800. The total government so far was $786,800. If you drop down to public safety, we intend to replace one Taurus sedan, 2013, for $69,000. One 2014 Explorer for $69,000. One Ford Intercept sedan, $69,000. Ford Interceptor sedan, $69,000. Ford Interceptor sedan again, $69,000. And That's 11 of those. As we keep our police department functional. The replacement vehicle for these are the reason the prices are so similar. In most instances will be the Dodge Durango SUV, which is where we get our best value for a dollar. Now, and if you recall the police department, there are 4 new positions, 3 new positions we're looking for. So we need 3 new Dodge Durangos SUVs. There is a new audio video system in the training room, $55,000. The new LPR message boards with $63,000, and there's another one for the same price, and a third. They have much greater law enforcement capability. I'd rather not talk about it in detail now, but they will really, it's a combat multiplier for the law enforcement and police work. And prepaid amount for body cameras, $100,000. And the total police department is $1,291,200, and total for public safety is the same number. If you go to page 161, the other high dollar items are here. Public Works we need a new air compressor for $11,800, and that's for the garage division. Solid waste division, replacement 1, 2, 3, and replace 1 and get 2 new trash trucks. The 2 new trash trucks are directly related to additional responsibilities of our solid waste division is taking on in South Lake, Mill Branch, and Milford. So the total number for Public Works is $1,032,000. Streets Division, solid waste is $1,032,000. Streets Division needs a new backhoe for $155,700. A Trail King trailer, $20,900. New 10-foot leaf box for $13,000. Understanding that, so you understand the process, before we put these new equipment vehicles in our budget, each of the directors have to present to me the need, and we do a maintenance assessment on the property. And of course, I have extensive maintenance management experience as an Army officer for trucks, Jeeps, armored personnel carriers. So I endeavor to get all I can out of the life of a vehicle, short of having any mission failures associated with that. We're going to replace the Ventrac tractor diesel in the Stormwater Management Division for $38,000. That's the sum of that. Parks and Grounds needs replace the Toro 3300 HD infill groomer, $40,000. Replace core aerator machine for $48,000. Replace leaf vac for $72,000. And new Ventrac SSV model 2120M for $25,000. All total, so total acquisition replacement $33,535,000. Reserve for future replacements $1,161,000. Total $4,696,800. And I won't get into details, but if you all find yourself wanting to research pages 162 through 167, list all of our vehicles and significant equipment, and when, by virtue of our expertise, we project to replace them. Now, any questions about the equipment acquisition component of the budget?
Any questions from council members? Councilman DeFore?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just a quick question. In general, how are we doing with the estimates of replacement costs and actual costs? Are we getting pretty close as we near the end of useful life of these items?
Well, over the last 8.5 years, we've been really accurate on what we project. And also, we've been very fortunate to be able to climb onto other contracts and save a significant amount of money, Baltimore County, Montgomery County, and places like that. Now, at some point, I think we chatted about inflation. If you all recall, in the budget process we had in 2020, a trash truck was $190,000, maybe a 194. Now it's $344. It's inflation, price gouging, profit taking, who knows? But the reality is, you know, all we can do is simply get in line and ask for our truck, because it's such an essential function, and the number of places you can get a truck are extremely limited. And but we've been a lot of success here. And, you know, we're a lot better here than we were initially with some of our construction estimates. We fixed that by making certain that all of our construction projects, regardless of what that we had our engineers, especially under Jose Aldeus, you know, get in there and give us accurate estimates so we could be within 10-20% of what it can actually cost. And Dr. Allen's keeping got that practice going.
Excellent, thank you.
Councilman Brady.
Thank you. Two questions. The first being, when we replace a police cruiser, replace any other truck or asset of the city, what happens? Is it traded in at a reduced price, or do we actually sell the asset and it becomes a revenue?
What we do is, in general, 95% of the time, we sell them at auction. And you'd be surprised at what we get for them. It's amazing when people buy your stuff that you use for 15 years. But people who have their own businesses, and some of our equipment, they're all still operational, but considering the amount of use they get, you know, we have to replace them. For example, when I got here, we had a lot of pallets and some of those Ford. What's that Ford? Small Ford there. They just didn't hold up under the rigors of patrol work. And so we transitioned to the Fords, and eventually we wanted to use the Explorers, but Ford had some problems producing our vehicles for a couple of years, and we were fortunate enough to find that Dodge and the Durango fit our needs exactly. But we sell all of our equipment, and people love to come on and bid for it.
Right, which is what I expect. I just want to ask the question for public information. The other question I have is looking through the acquisition fund, and I found quite a few places where if you take the FY, in last year's budget, the adopted budget, you take the FY reserve through FY24, and you have the contribution in FY25, that number I would expect would be the reserve through for FY26 in the current. And I found quite a few places where that's not true. And I'm just a little confused on why that's not happening.
If I can answer that. Thank you for the question. Byron Matthews, Finance Director for the City of Bowie. One thing that we try to do is to minimize the impact on the general fund. And we look through our equipment to see what equipment we can borrow the reserve from to have a lesser impact on the general fund. Otherwise, we have to transfer all of the money. We may have a piece of equipment that's due 8 years out. It may have a significant reserve to use on a piece of equipment that we have to purchase with no reserve. So we will go through, after we do the evaluation, as City Manager indicate, and look at what's our best approach to funding the projects. So we will go in and analyze each particular equipment, see when it's due, see when what the replacement price is, and try to minimize the impact on the general fund. Otherwise, the transfer to the general fund could be $5 million instead of the $2 million.
Right. Okay, I appreciate that, and at least that allays some of the confusion that I had, but at the same time, it'd be helpful, and it may not be, we may not be able to do it, but it'd be helpful if there's some way where that can get factored into the presentation to the public. Because most people would look at last year's budget and this year's budget and scratch their head like I did. So if there's, maybe for next year's budget, there's some way we can come up with an explanation, because the numbers don't add up if you look from budget year to budget year to budget year. And I think my concern would be, if people are confused by it, they'll start being suspicious about what we are doing. So that's the reason I raised it. I didn't raise it to embarrass anyone or question anyone, but rather just for clarification. Thank you, Mayor.
Council members, any other questions? Hearing none, City Manager.
Mr. Matthews will take you all through the general fund summary.
Council, I will start on page 21. Over the last 4 budget meetings, we've talked about all of these numbers throughout the departments. These pages are just summaries of things that we've talked about. Staff shows these summaries so that you can get a quick view of the impact of the budget. The numbers are presented to you in different ways. The first page, it's by the object of expenditures, so that you can see at a glance from the general fund how much we're spending on personal services, contractual services, commodities, other charges, capital outlay, debt service, and transfers to other funds. On the next page, we show you the same information, but broken down on the function level. And that's the functions. Our functions are general government, economic development, public safety, social services, public works, parks, culture and recreation are non-departmental. Our transfers to other funds are debt service. And it just breaks it out in that particular category, still coming up with the same appropriation amount of $91,727,400. On page 24, we show you these responsibilities by department levels, and it lets you see what individual divisions are under what department and what those expenditures are at a glance. And on page 25, we are still tracking the total appropriation of $91 million. On page 26 is a general fund summary of our revenue sources categorized by real property, intergovernmental funds, licensing and permits, other charges, and the appropriation from the fund balance, along with transfers from other funds. In this case, that would be the $532,000 that comes from the water and sewer fund. But as you can see, the bulk of our money comes from our real and personal property taxes. On page 27, again, another listing of our general fund revenue by 10-year trend. So we show you from 2017 to our proposed 2026, what those revenue sources have been over the last 10 years. And as you can see, our revenue has steadily grown over the last 10 years. On page 28, again, we show you the tax revenue, the 10-year summary. As you can see again, tax revenue continues to increase over the 10-year period. Page 29 is the expenditures by function over a 10-year trend. As you can see, total expenditures from 2017 to the current proposed budget year of 2026, $91 million. We're still tracking that. The graph below shows the total trend over the 10-year period. To give you another look at that, the proposed budget is shown with a 12% increase. And we also show you our debt service increase based on the ice rinks debt service amount being entered in this particular budget book. On page 30, we show a per capita over a 10-year trend. That's basically general fund expenditures divided by population, so that you can see from a tax basis and from expenditure basis per population what that amount is. Population for FY26 proposed budget is 57,254. That divided into the 91 million comes out to $1,602. And when we look at tax revenue, it is $761 per capita. On page 31, we show you the real property tax and all other overlapping government tax. As you can, if you go down to the year 2026, you see that the city's tax rate is stable. The county's tax rate for the incorporated area of Bowie is basically 88 cents. The state's rate is about 11 cents, and park and planning is 29 cents. So WSSC is the 3 cents, and the total overall tax is $1.71 roughly. From that, I'd like to take you to the appendices, which begin on page 309. And again, these are just summaries of data you've already looked at over the last 4 budget cycles. We give you a breakdown over a 3-year period of the number of FTEs in each department, as well as the water and sewer. We're proposing in this budget that we will have a total of 455 FTEs for the year. On page 310, we begin to show you our compensation plan. As you know, we have people that are on our X scale, which is 1950 hours for the year. Our Y scale is 2,080 hours for the year. And we show that in different ways, one on an hourly basis and one on salary basis. You can find the hourly basis on page 312. On page 313, the compensation is listed for our police officers, both non-command officers as well as command officers. The COLA for our civilian employees built in is 2.3. For our officers is 2%. Again, on page 314 is a definition of all the positions that are available within the city. That takes you to demographic information. That's on 318, where we pull this information right from our last annual comprehensive annual report. You can find these 2 charts there in the FY24 report. The first one deals with the demographics and economic statistics, showing population, personal taxable income, per capita income, median age, educational level, school enrollment, and the unemployment rate. On page 319, we show you the assessed value over the last 11 years here. What more I need to say about that? As you can see that the taxable assessed value continues to rise, and we're looking at an estimated value of 9.1 billion in estimated value of city properties. On page 320, we take you to the principal property taxpayers. I won't list those out for you, but as you can see, these are our top principal property taxpayers. On 321 is just another list of top performers. These are our principal employers throughout the city of Bowie. Prince George's County Schools ranks number 1. On page 322, we show you the facilities recovery cost analysis that's done on certain activities within the city of Bowie. We've listed the senior center, the ice rink, gymnasium, recs and parks, and historical properties. This page is just to show you what the return is on those facilities, not as a report to indicate that we need to change something, but just to let you know how those facilities are working and what the return on investment is. The last page in our proposed budget, the last several pages, I would say, are just our glossary, and it gives you all of the terms that are throughout the budget book to enrich the understanding of the reader's comprehension. That's all I have, Mayor. City Manager, I'll give it back to you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Mathers. I want to say, Mayor, I really like that enriched word there. That was the finance thing. Sir, that concludes our work for this evening in the work session.
All right, I do want to make sure if there's some questions for Mr. Matthew. Councilman Brady?
Thank you, Mayor. Just one quick question. Looking at your plan of compensation for the employees, when was the last time the city did a salary survey? And how frequently do we typically do them?
Well, about 2.5 years ago, and every 5 years is a standard.
Okay, so not next year, but the year after, we'll probably do another one?
Within 2 years from now, 27.
Okay, because we need to make sure we stay competitive and not lose employees too.
Yeah, and that's why we did one in 21, I believe. So we're, and with the police also, we have a union agreement with them. And in the negotiations, I wanted to make certain that a brand new police officer who wanted to stay here a long time could see where his pay and benefits would be 15 years out, sort of like the Army and the pay scale. Even though, and there's a nice, what's it, 3% increase from one step to another? 3.25 increase from one step to a higher step in the police department, plus the COLA. It's, we are competitive, and we can, we have a height advantage over Annapolis, since the NBA title is going, finally going. We have a height advantage over Annapolis, Greenbelt, all of our surrounding. We're still competing with Anne Arundel County. They have some really super perks. But as you know, also with the police department, we launched a marketing campaign, and that's we believe that's going to pay dividends, so that we can hire those new police officers and the ones that we're lacking. But we plan to do another one in the next 2.5 years.
Okay, thank you, Mayor.
Any other questions from any other council members? If not, on behalf of the entire council, we would like to say thank you to City Manager and all of the staff for all you've done in preparations for this. And we look forward to talking with you again soon. And again, thank you, everyone, and have a good night.
Next Monday is the big vote, right?
Indeed. Good time will be had by all.
All right. Hey, good night, everybody.